Everyone dreams about visiting the City of Light in Paris, but not everyone knows what goes into planning a trip here, and I really hope this video makes your trip more enjoyable because you have all this work done for you up front. In this guide, we'll bring you our exact itinerary that we use when visiting Paris, as well as some modifications and things you could change if you're not really feeling all the stuff we suggest. You can purchase the ultimate guide to Paris in the description below. It literally includes everything you need to know to visit the city. We visited Paris at the end of our month-long trip to Europe, which of course we'll have more videos coming out about that as well. Since we were coming from within the EU, we did not have to land at the international terminal of Charles de Gaulle Airport, which I've heard many horror stories about, but we actually didn't have that bad of an experience here, so I can't really give you a complete guide to CDG. If you're coming from the US, expect it to take a while. We just heard things about long lines at customs and stuff like that. We took an Uber into the city from here and checked into our hotel pretty late, around 9 p.m. We stayed at Hôtel Le Chiquet, and just a disclaimer, I am not gonna pronounce anything right in this video, so please be patient with me in the comments. I'm trying my best here. French is hard. We love this hotel though, and it's super reasonably priced, and it's in a great location on Grand Boulevard, which is close to 2 major metro stations, which you'll probably use throughout your entire trip. Highly recommend this place, super nice, good price, good location.
It's the Louvre, and there's a long line, but we got tickets, so. Well, I didn't, he did.
I would start my first day in Paris by going to the Louvre. You're gonna wanna go, so you might as well get it out of the way with now and start your trip off with one of the coolest things in the city. The Louvre is closed on Tuesdays, and you will need a timed entry ticket to enter. I would book these about a month in advance because they do sell out, and I would try to get the earliest time slot if possible. I recommend getting there 30 minutes before your timed entry slot if you wanna enter your actual time. For instance, for us, we bought a 9:30 ticket and we got there at 9, and then we entered the Louvre right at 9:30. We found entering at the Pyramid to be the easiest and most straightforward. There are other hidden entrances around the city, which you can see on a map here. Overall though, we liked entering at the Pyramid because it's kind of the iconic experience of entering the Louvre, and honestly, the line was not that bad. Once inside the Louvre, it's split into 3 wings, the Denon, the Soli, and the Richelieu. The Denon wing contains most of the famous paintings that you hear about, including the Mona Lisa, the Wedding Feast at Cana, the Raft of Medusa, and some sculptures like Michelangelo's slaves. The Soli wing is the oldest section of the Louvre. This contains things like the medieval Louvre, which features the old palace walls. It also contains the Venus de Milo sculpture and artifacts from ancient Egypt, which was by far our favorite section. The Richelieu contains things from ancient Mesopotamia, including Hammurabi's Code, which was really cool to see. It also has the Angelina's restaurant, so if you want to stop and get a coffee or a pastry, I would do that here before entering Napoleon's apartments, which are the main attraction of the Richelieu. It's worth noting that certain exhibits in the Louvre close on different days, so just because the museum is closed on Tuesdays doesn't mean that everything is all open on those other days. It's all laid out on the website, but since the museum is so big, it's really hard to keep track of. We went on a Monday and everything that we wanted to see, which is all the most popular stuff, was open. So if you want to be safe, go on a Monday, I guess. We used this guide by Earth Trekkers to see all of the main highlights, and honestly, it's incredible. I don't know how they put this thing together. It's better than anything I could ever make, but check this out if you want a complete detailed walking guide to see all the cool stuff, all in 3 hours. Make a plan going in, use the Earth Trekkers guide, and it's a really enjoyable experience. After the Louvre, I would grab lunch on the nearby street Rue du Bac. There's 3 restaurants on here, including Les Antiquaires, Cocorico, and Café d'Empire. We went to Cocorico and liked it so much we actually came back twice on our trip. This place has really good chicken sandwiches. Their signature chicken sandwich is only like 17 euros, I think, which for Paris standards is not bad at all. So this is a great place to stop for lunch. Next, you'll want to go and visit one of Paris's most beautiful neighborhoods, the Saint-Germain-des-Pres. If you want to do some high-end shopping, this is also the area for you, and it contains some of the most iconic cafes in the city, like Le Domago, Café de Flore, and the Ralph Lauren Cafe. We went and got hot chocolate at the Café de Flore, which is one of the most famous and iconic places in the city. I have to get this out of the way because I'm gonna cover a lot of places that are overpriced and touristy according to experts that love Europe travel. Is it overpriced? Yes, it is, but at the same time, I enjoyed every second of my experience there, so I'm not gonna let that take away from it. The line outside can be long if you want to sit on the outdoor patio, but if you're just stopping by for a hot chocolate, you can usually get a table inside with no wait at all. While you're here, be sure to not miss the Luxembourg Gardens. These are not touristy in my opinion, and one of the best things you can do. You could easily spend an hour or more just roaming through these gardens. If you have kids, this is one place I would not miss. They will love it. After wandering around the Luxembourg Gardens for a while, we went to the Notre Dame Cathedral. This is located in the Ile de la Cité, and I talk more about this in my ultimate guide, but this was actually the city of Paris for a while. It's this island in the middle of the Seine River, and it has the Notre Dame Cathedral and the original Cathedral Saint-Chapelle. We did not go inside either of these, but we walked past both of them. For the Saint-Chapelle, you do have to pay to enter, and I talk more about that in the guide, but the Notre Dame is actually free to enter. I would book a time slot online though, which you can find here. We got there probably around 4:30 or 5-ish, so that's the time slot I'd be looking at if you're following this exact guide. It's something important to note that the Crown of Thorns of Jesus Christ is actually kept at the Notre Dame Cathedral. It is shown on the first Friday of every month and every Friday during Lent, so that's something to note if you're interested in that. After this, we walked back to our hotel, but depending on where you're staying, you might want to take the metro. I talk a lot more about the metro in the ultimate guide, but overall it's really not as difficult to use now that the metro has adapted these new Navigo cards rather than having to get the individual tickets. After resting at our hotel for about an hour, we went out to dinner at Perruche. It's massively overpriced, but I hate to say it, it is also one of the best dining experiences I've had in my entire life. I truly believe that the views from Perruche are the best in the entire city. It's not like the food here is bad, but it's just not pay $200 for dinner for two good, if that makes any sense. I'm very torn, but at the end of the day, I do recommend this place because like I said, it's one of the best views I've ever seen, and I think about it to this day. After dinner, we figured we couldn't spend a day in Paris and not go see the Eiffel Tower, so we took a cab from Perruche down to the Champ de Mars before heading back. I'll talk a little more about the Champ de Mars for the next day because we spent a lot more time there. For your second day in Paris, I would spend this in the 7th, 8th, 15th, and 16th arrondissements. This will change depending on where you're staying, but I think it's best to start off your day at the Tuileries Garden. Disclaimer, the Tuileries Gardens are just outside the Louvre, so you will be starting your day 2 the same place as your day 1. These gardens are one of my favorite in the city. They have great little cafes sprinkled in them, so I would start your morning by taking a walk here, getting a coffee and a croissant, before heading up to the Champs-Elysees. The reason I like doing the Tuileries this day is because the Tuileries Gardens connect with the Champs-Elysees and go all the way to the Arc de Triomphe, so you're basically on one street for the entire time. The Champs-Elysees is the best place to shop if you're not looking for high-end luxury items. It has a lot more of your traditional stores like Adidas and Lululemon. This is not where you'll want to go either if you're looking for boutique shopping. That would be in Le Marais, which we'll talk about on day 4. We enjoyed walking the Champs-Elysees, and it probably took us about 2 hours to go from the start to the Arc de Triomphe by popping in and out of stores. We also stopped at Ladurée on the way, which once again, it's a chain, but Ladurée's macaroons are incredible, and I would definitely stop here if you have the chance. Finally, after walking, you'll reach the Arc de Triomphe. If you want to go inside, you'll have to follow these steps here to get a timed entry ticket. And it's really complicated, so I'm just going to read directly from the website and try to break it down for you the best that I can, but tell me if this makes any sense in the comments. The prices are complicated for no reason. From the 2nd of June to the 30th of September, tickets are 22 euros, except no admission on Wednesdays. From October 1st through March 31st, tickets are 16 euros. Once again, no admission on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays from April to September, tickets are 16 euros. Even though the website says no admission on Wednesdays from June through September. And if you want to visit in May, well, you, I guess, because there's no mention of May online. If you can figure that out, then you can visit the top of the Arc de Triomphe, which is a great view, but honestly, I think you get a similar view from Perruche and Galeries Lafayette. You have to take an underground tunnel through one of the busiest intersections in the city. It's really cool to see, but if you're not really into the sculptures and all the writings that's on the Arc, I think it's better seen from afar. We decided to go to lunch after at Le New York, which honestly, it's not a restaurant to write home about, but I got a burger there. It was okay. It's right on the Seine River and you have a view of the Eiffel Tower, which is nice, but nothing special. And if you want to find your own cool place for lunch this day, this is the time I would recommend substituting something from our itinerary. After this, you'll get all the Eiffel Tower content that your heart desires, I promise, by going to Trocadero. Trocadero is a plaza that has a direct view of the Eiffel Tower, and it's really cool, and there's a ton of other attractions here as well, including the Palais de Tokyo, Palais de Chaillot, and the Palais Galleria. We are not huge museum people, so we didn't pay these a visit, but you could easily spend a couple hours here going in and out of these museums if that's what you're into. After Trocadero, we walked behind the plaza and went to Carette, which is another one of the famous hot chocolate places in Paris. We did not like Carette as much as Café de Flore, but online, a lot of people love Carette. It's much more of like hot chocolate soup than a traditional like drinking hot chocolate. I would get an espresso with it and combine the two. That was really good. After Carette, we walked back through Trocadero and down to the Champ de Mars. On the way, we stopped at one of the coolest streets in the city, Rue du I'Universite. This place really is well known, and it's gonna be hard to get some solo shot pictures, so I would either go really early in the morning or actually, yeah, that's about it. That's the only time you're gonna get this place without swarms of tourists. After that, we went and walked through the Champ de Mars. It's a lot less crowded during the day than it is at night, so if you're tired, feel free to have a little picnic here before carrying on with your day. If you're like us and you want to bite off more than you can chew, then you can try to walk to the Hôtel des Invalides. I really struggle to explain exactly what it is at this point, so I've recruited ChatGPT to help me out.
The Hôtel des Invalides in Paris is a grand complex built in the 17th century by Louis XIV as a hospital and retirement home for wounded and aging soldiers. Today it remains a striking example of French classical architecture, most recognizable for its golden dome church, the Dôme des Invalides. The site houses several military museums, including the Musée des Armées and the burial place of Napoleon Bonaparte, whose tomb rests under the dome. Beyond its historical significance, it symbolizes France's military heritage and continues to function in part as a facility for veterans.
Cool. You can visit this place by booking tickets here, and it will probably take you about an hour to tour this. Finally, you can get off your feet and take the metro back to your hotel to rest before going to dinner at Monsier Bleu. It is very expensive, but it's honestly not too bad, and the food is much better than Perruche. The vibes here are great. It's another garden-style restaurant, but it's right on the river, and you have a view of the Eiffel Tower, which is super cool. Another place in here is Bambini, which is Italian. Bambini got some mixed reviews, but the vibes are pretty similar, so Monsier Bleu is much more classic French, and Bambini is much more of an Italian restaurant, so just debate on what food you want before deciding which one of these to go to. We ate at 8 p.m. in June, and that was the perfect time to eat before going to the Passerelle Debilly for sunset. This bridge is the best photo spot in the city in our opinion. Please do not miss it if you want good pictures. At sunset, it's actually unlike anything I've ever seen. After this, cross the bridge, take a seat at the Champ de Mars, and be prepared to watch the Eiffel Tower do its sparkle. Now, let's clear some things up. The Eiffel Tower sparkles every hour on the hour after sunset. So what this means is the sun sets at 9:50 p.m. like it did on our trip. It will do its first sparkle at 11 p.m., not 10 p.m. After that, you'll have to wait another hour and then it'll sparkle again. In our case, the final sparkle that it does when all the other lights turn off and it just has the white flashing lights, that happens at midnight. Every single source online said that it happened at 1 a.m. Just so you know, it happens at midnight as of June 2025. On our third day in Paris, we visited the Palace of Versailles, and I recommend you do the same because it's a great break from the city in the middle of your trip to go and see something totally different. I'll break down exactly how to get there because it's a little complicated. The Palace of Versailles is located in the town of Versailles, which is about an hour away by metro on the RERC train. You'll want to take the RERC from anywhere along the Seine River down to Versailles. The RERC runs from the city out into the suburbs. That's what differentiates it from the metro. Most of the stations, like I said, are located on the Seine River, so if you're not staying near the Seine, you'll need to take a metro line to get to an RERC line, which in our experience was not that hard. Once you get to the platform, it's really easy to transfer. Just follow the signs for the RERC. It's the yellow line towards Versailles. Tickets will cost you €5 if you're not doing a transfer and €10 if you are transferring because you'll have to pay twice. So all in all, round trip, this is €20. We boarded the RERC at Pont de Alma, which I'll show on the map. This is one thing to be really cautious about. There are 2 stops in Versailles, and it's not exactly well marked as to which train goes to which. Some trains go to the correct station and some go to one that's about 20 minutes further away from the palace. We boarded the wrong one by accident, and honestly, I wouldn't have had any way of knowing because you don't know until you get on the train which Versailles station it's going to, and honestly, it ended up being fine. We just had to walk a little more. Regardless, you'll make it to the right spot, but if you're in a rush for time, then it could be a problem because you will have to get timed entry tickets for Versailles. The correct station is Versailles Rive Gauche, so make sure you can get on that if you can. The great thing about Versailles is that they actually will let you in early. We had a 9:30 ticket and we entered around 9:20, which is great. They do kind of funnel you into some rooms that start off by showing the history and the details of how the palace was made. I wish we could have spent more time here, but these rooms get really crowded because they're so small and it's hard to make sure you're actually taking everything in with all the crowds. The crowds do dissipate once you get further into the palace, but for these rooms, it can be a little overwhelming. Make sure to use the free audio guide on the Palace of Versailles app. If we hadn't used this, we would not have known anything that was going on because none of the signs are in English, they're all in French. Make sure to download this, bring headphones, and use the audio guide. We actually only spent about 90 minutes inside the palace. In our opinion, that was really all we needed. It's insane. I mean, it's one of the craziest places I've ever seen, but we actually enjoyed the gardens way more than we enjoyed the palace itself. If we spent about 90 minutes inside the palace, we spent easily over 2 hours in the gardens. When you walk outside, you'll see that they sprawl for miles. There's actually over 5 miles worth of trails inside of the gardens, and that's not even including going off the beaten path. I would follow the exact directions on the map that they give you. The paper map that they hand out at the entrance has this musical gardens walking tour that you can do, and we followed that and actually really enjoyed it, and it shows you most of the stuff you'll want to see. There are 3 restaurants by here. There's, I believe, an Italian restaurant, there's a sandwich shop, and La Flottille. We thought Flottille was the best by far. We got fish and chips and they were only, I think, €19 each, so really not that expensive considering it's the only place to eat nearby. After either renting a boat, walking, driving a golf cart, getting lunch, any of the above options, then you should go to the Grand Trianon. We did not go inside the Trianon, but the gardens around the Trianon and like the woodland grove, if that makes any sense, is probably where we spent most of our time walking. This place is crazy. The Trianon Estates are 2 other buildings that you can go into with your Palace of Versailles ticket. The Petite Trianon was used by Marie Antoinette when she wanted to go live a more modest lifestyle, which looking at it is really modest, Marie. It'll take about 30 to 40 minutes to walk back from the Trianon all the way to the palace entrance, so plan for that when thinking about what train you want to catch. Once you get back to Paris, you'll want to do a dinner at Brasserie de Pres. You cannot go wrong with any of the 3 restaurants located in this little alleyway, including Le Procope and Le Jacobin. Some friends that we had have gone to Le Jacobin and they say it was their favorite meal of the trip, but we really like Brasserie de Pres and I highly recommend going here if you get the chance. Once again, the place isn't that expensive, the drinks are good and the food is good and the service is great. This is also the perfect place to go to dinner because you'll be only about 10 minutes walking away from your evening activity, which is a Seine river cruise. The Seine river cruise was cool, but it wasn't really what we were expecting. You'll board the boat, you'll cruise around the river at sunset. They say they're gonna show you the Eiffel Tower sparkle, but in the summer that's literally impossible because the tours don't run late enough to show you the Eiffel Tower sparkling. They also just blast pop music the whole time and don't tell you anything. I thought this was gonna be an informational tour, kind of like the Chicago architecture tour, if that makes sense, but it wasn't. We did it at Vedettes du Pont Neuf, so maybe other boat companies are different, but in our experience, it wasn't informational at all. If you're looking to cut costs somewhere, then I would cut this out, but if you're willing to spend 15 to 20 euros to just cruise around on a boat after having a long day walking at Versailles, it's not a bad idea. We called it a night after the cruise and rested up for our day tomorrow. On day 4, we took things a lot slower since our first 3 days were pretty intense. I would recommend starting your day by going to Montmartre. We slept in, so we didn't have time to do it, but once again, our friends who've been say Montmartre is incredible and it's actually on the way if you're staying where we stayed when walking up to Montmartre. Montmartre is one of Paris's oldest neighborhoods and it's considered the artsy bohemian district. Famous artists like Monet and Picasso lived here and you can really feel the influence still to this day. Montmartre has some of the most beautiful medieval streets in the city. The Sacré-Cœur Basilica is the main attraction of Montmartre and it's the first thing you'll see when you walk up the steps to get to the hill. Honestly, the steps weren't that bad. Everything online was like, you're gonna be winded when you get up them, but we thought it was totally fine. You can enter the church for free actually and climb 306 more steps up to the top of the Sacré-Cœur. We didn't think this was worth it, but if you really want to see the view, be my guest. After this, we got a light breakfast at Les Cinq Marches. We got pancakes and lattes here. This restaurant is great. It's this tiny little courtyard right on one of the most picturesque streets in Montmartre. Highly recommend visiting this place if you get the chance. Around here is also La Maison Rose. If you want to do lunch in Montmartre, I would go here. It's a very famous restaurant, and once again, I feel like I've said this so much, one of the best views in the city. If you want to grab lunch outside of Montmartre, I would walk to Pink Mama. It's one of the most Instagram famous restaurants in the city. We actually liked it because it was cheap, the food is pretty good, it's in a great location. After lunch, we walked back to our hotel and rested up for a little bit before going to Le Marais. Le Marais is in the 3rd and 4th arrondissements, and it's the best place to shop if you're looking for more boutique shopping or trying to get some souvenirs. It's honestly a perfect place to spend your evening, and I'm really glad we did it this way because we were able to just casually stroll the streets of Le Marais after having a nice morning in Montmartre before we went to dinner somewhere very different. I found this place online and I'm really glad we went, called Jungle Palace. Jungle Palace is by the Affirma Group and they run 3 restaurants in the city of Paris, including Under the Sea, Stellar, and Jungle Palace. You get a 90-minute dining experience inside and the seasons change every 15 minutes, so you're gonna get tons of variety in the projections on the wall. Honestly, the food was pretty good too, and once again, not that expensive. We keep finding all these hidden gems in Paris. Since we got a late dinner, we went straight from dinner to the Eiffel Tower to catch the final sparkle on this night. Like I said, it happens at midnight, and we were really pleasantly surprised when we found that out, because that means we were able to actually get back before 2 a.m., or so we thought. This is one of my biggest pieces of advice. Do not rely on the metro at night. This was the line for the metro after watching the Eiffel Tower sparkle at midnight to try to catch one of the last 3 trains. It's damn near impossible to get on, and also Uber doesn't work either. The Bolt app and the G7 app are much more reliable in Paris. Looking back on it, we created great memories walking and running at night in the city of Paris. It was really fun, but if you have kids and you don't want to stay out super late, please download the other 2 apps. Don't rely on Uber and don't rely on the metro. Finally, for your last day in Paris, I would leave it open to kind of do what you want to do or maybe revisit some other attractions. The main things you will have missed at this point are the catacombs or the Musée d'Orsay, the Bois de Boulogne, and some other day trips you could take from the city. The ultimate guide that I have covers some of these other day trips as well, so if you're interested in that, be sure to buy that in the description. We started off by getting coffee at a random coffee shop that I don't remember the name of. Then we went to the Galeries Lafayette rooftop to see it, and it's the same view as Perruche, but it was still cool to go to Galeries Lafayette. They have some great souvenirs here as well on the top floor. Then we went to Angelina's down by the Louvre, and we still thought Café de Flore was the best, but Angelina's was probably better than Carette in our opinion. After Angelina's, we just took a walk around the city and went back to our hotel to rest up for the evening before we went to dinner at Cocorico again. Like I said, we love Cocorico for whatever reason. It's in a great location, has great food, has great drinks, and we used this to kick off our Seine River bar crawl. There are so many cool bars on the Seine River. Some of them are on boats, some of them are on land, but either way, you're gonna wanna spend a lot of time popping in and out of these if you have the chance. We ended our crawl at Bonnet Club, which is right by the Eiffel Tower, and then we decided to walk back after that during sunset for our final walk back to our hotel of the trip. If you have 6 or 7 days, then you could probably do a lot more in the city, like the Musée d'Orsay, or fit in another day trip, but we thought 5 days was perfect and honestly not overkill at all, and it was a great amount of time to spend. Make sure to purchase the Ultimate Guide to Paris in the description. It has everything you need to plan a trip. I promise, if it's not, leave me a comment and I'll provide you any more information that you need. We will also have videos coming out on our trip to Barcelona, our trip to Switzerland, our trip to the Dolomites, so much more from Europe that we're so excited to bring you guys going forward. Remember, travel smarter, not harder.